to the news at 1. I'm Anyala Balogun. We start on a health note. Telling the story of 7 years of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration without the COVID-19 experience and response to the pandemic will definitely be incomplete. How did Nigeria fare in its onslaught against a pandemic that took the global community by storm? And how has it reshaped Nigeria's health response to future pandemics? Olusegun Adeokuta is our guide on this.
Governance was normal in nations around the world, but there came the turning point when COVID-19 struck in the late 2019, hitting hard in the early 2020, affecting almost the whole of the global population. Nigeria had its own share of the COVID-19 crisis and has remained on our toes in the efforts to mitigate the impact of the global pandemic. The political will accorded the response by the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari has been at the front line of crisis management and recovery with significant implications and outcomes.
And all of us around the world are trying to adjust to how to manage long-term COVID pandemic, and hoping very much on vaccines and on being able to make our own vaccines ourselves.
COVID-19 vaccines and vaccination recommended by the global health authorities as proven strong interventions to mitigate the virus is what Nigeria's government takes seriously.
The President's advocacy has made Nigeria one of the 5 vaccine manufacturing hubs in Africa, endorsed by the World Health Organization.
Revitalization of the primary healthcare service delivery with the target of meeting universal health coverage for all Nigerians by 2030 has also been designed with a 4-point agenda and a 10-year primary healthcare guideline, standards and regulatory framework. As the saying goes, a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. In Abuja, Olusegun Adeokuta, NTA News.
The African economy is set to be under pressure as a result of COVID-19, with different disruptions to business operations and governance. Discussions are, however, ongoing in Abidjan, focusing on economic sovereignty, green growth and industrial transformation. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who joins other African leaders at the forum, is advocating more collaboration with the rest of the world in finding solutions to these economic challenges, citing the involvement of African youths in the technology sector as a good example. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and the host President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire arriving at the venue of the African Chief Executives Forum.
Even before COVID hit.
Close to 2,000 local and international investors are sharing and exchanging ideas on how African countries can sustain their economies without relying much on foreign import.
Nigeria into focus.
At the plenary session, which features Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and others from the private sector, observed that the opportunities created at this time could only be harnessed with the right policies.
So we've got to cooperate with the world. We've got to cooperate with the international tax system to ensure that we're able to derive maximum benefit. We've got to take our seats at the table and ensure that all of the various initiatives on international taxation favor us in Africa. So while we're looking inwards, we've got to be very careful to look outwards as well, because a lot of money is obviously being made by tech companies across the world, and a lot of our countries are, value creators.
Growing the African economy lies not only in the hands of policymakers, but also in the hands of these investors.
The war in Ukraine has exposed Africa, and it is not, something that, we should be lamenting about. It is a wake-up call. It is an opportunity for us, to step up, do more, and try as much as possible to bridge the gap.
70 sessions dealing with various issues are scheduled to hold over the two-day event.
In Côte d'Ivoire, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
It is few days to the deadline given to the political parties by the Independent National Electoral Commission to submit names of their candidates ahead of the 2023 general elections. To this end, various interest groups within the APC are appealing to stakeholders to consider merit in those with electoral value to emerge as vice to its presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This, the group said, is necessary in view of increasing divergent opinions from stakeholders. After 35 years of diligent service, the Director of Medical Laboratory Services, Lagos State Primary Health Care Board, Yomi Juliana Newton, has bowed out of service. Ese Onwemaka reports that the Association of Medical Personnel Board is not letting her go without the deserved honor, and so they rolled out drums to celebrate her retirement and 60th birthday in grand style at Alausa, Lagos.
It was a celebration galore as family, friends and colleagues thronged the tastefully decorated hall to honor one of their own, Madam Yomi Juliana Newton, JP, who was the Director of Medical Laboratory Services of the Lagos State Primary Health Care Board. Encomiums flowed freely from some of her loved ones, including the General Manager of NTA Abeokuta, Fumi Wakama, who praised her exemplary lifestyle.
She is a very honest person, very hardworking, and very helpful. And in this country, there are not many people who are like that. So she's a very unusual person.
She's someone who is very close to God. I remember when we were together, she really impacted my Christian life. She all keep giving me tracts to read and all of that. And from there, my my Christian life developed, so I can never forget her.
It's a day of celebration. It's a day to remember that God is the all-sufficient one, and He has kept her till today, and that alone gives me so much joy and happiness.
Highlights of the double celebration was a special prayer session for the celebrant and cutting of the lovely cake. In recognition of her achievements and contributions, gifts were presented as the eclectic performance of the live band added life to the party. The overjoyed celebrant, Madam Yomi Juliana Newton, JP, expressed her emotions this way.
Very fascinating, very challenging, but in all, you just have to be determined, you have to be resilient, and you have to be innovative.
Madam Yomi Juliana Newton was born on 11th June 1962, began her career in early 90s, and recently retired as a Director, Medical Laboratory Services from the Lagos State Civil Service. In Lagos, S.A. Obamaka, NTA News.
In the world of business, NNPC supplies 1.523 billion liters of fuel in 3 weeks as NIN registration surges over same ban. Details in a business news segment with Rhoda Bonifati.
Latest update on the evacuation of the premium motor spirit popularly called petrol by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited shows that oil firm evacuated 1.523 billion liters of PMS between May 16 and June 5, 2022 in a bid to keep the country wet with fuel. However, the huge supply volume has not completely eradicated the queues formed by motorists daily in the filling stations in Abuja and environs. While many other outlets still do not dispense petrol due to the lack of products, figures obtained from the NNPC show that between May 16 to May 29, 2022, the oil firm recorded an average national evacuation of 69.04 million liters. This implies that NNPC evacuated about 966.56 million liters during the 2 weeks period. In the meantime, about 10.3 million Nigerians have been issued national identification number in the first 5 months of 2022. Data obtained from the National Identity Management Commission portals have shown. This brings the total number of Nigerians with NIN to 82.73 million as of May 26, 2022. And that's all on our business news segment. Over to you, studio.
Thank you, Rhoda. Up next is Sports Update with Olumide Eguntala.
More reactions continue to throw Super Eagles 10-0 record-breaking victory at the expense of their counterpart from Sao Tome and Principe. The result, which kept Super Eagles on top of Group A, football analysts described as the beginning of good things to come.
We are gradually having that Nigerian spirit in our team. Everybody seems to be fighting for shots this time around. Nobody is complacent.
Going forward, the Eagles have not arrived. They are not a team that we should be celebrating on right now because Joseph Osero, we know we will want to quickly impress. We have to look at the long run. What are the opposition that is going to face next? Will they be able to get this kind of result?
In the Nigeria Professional Football League, Kano Pillars will host Dakar FC in a midweek encounter. From the UEFA Nations League, some matches slated for Tuesday are Germany versus Italy, Netherlands against Wales, Poland will take on Belgium as Armenia squares up against Scotland. In athletics, Nigeria's Ruth Uzoro recorded her season best in the triple jump event with a 13.95 meters jump to move from 4th to 2nd and help Nigeria finish 3rd on the medals table with a total of 11 medals at the just concluded Senior Africa Athletics Championship in Mauritius. In volleyball, efforts at increasing participation and the popularity of volleyball are yielding results as a tournament among secondary school students just ended in Ilorin, Kwara State. Akpata Ajele Secondary School emerged champions.
Under 7 participated in this competition, and I'll say we are fulfilled.
Ahmad Fulani reports that the aim of the competition is to take volleyball down to the grassroots. With sports update, Olumide Eguntala, NTA News.
That completes the news at 1. I'm Ayala Balogo. Good afternoon.